Chapter 646. Victory. While the slaughter body was under the attack, the world body took the chance to sneakily attack Gong Chao's head with the long sword. However, Gong Chao brandished his long cudgel without looking at the world body. Pang! Jian Wushuang was greatly taken back. This strength! Jian Wushuang's world body sensed the terrifying power through the heart-killing sword and was knocked back. Gong Chao charged forward like a thunderbolt as his stone cudgel, with its mighty power, released thunderbolt-like staff shadows to suppress his opponent. Bang! 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 Jian Wushuang waved his heart-killing sword to resist the terrifying attacks, but after deflecting a dozen staff shadows, the world body was knocked down, causing a huge pit to form in the ground. Thwack! The broken stones were suddenly stirred up as the world body rose into the air. Meanwhile, the slaughter body was picking up the triple kill sword. The two original bodies stood side by side while staring at Gong Chao. Everything happened in the blink of an eye. Gong Chao's strikes caused the triple kill sword to be knocked away and the world body to fall to the ground. His terrifying battle strength shook everyone. The second occult. He has comprehended the second occult of the Thunderbolt Dao. Unbelievable! The experts in Skyward Pavilion were stupefied. They all felt the terrifying power that Gong Chao released. It was obviously the second occult of the Thunderbolt Dao. It was incredible. As for the Dao comprehension, it would be harder and harder to make breakthroughs. The geniuses who entered the top 20 had only comprehended the first occult. Most of them just started to touch the second occult. Even Jian Wushuang had only comprehended a small part of the second occult of the world Dao. Although Xianxia Wuhan had a high understanding of the second occult, he still had a long way to go. However, Gong Chao had a full understanding of the second occult of the Thunderbolt Dao. Monster! What a monster! A skyscraping realm genius that has a full understanding of the second occult of the Thunderbolt Dao. How is this possible? Everyone was stunned. I throw in the towel. Jian Wushuang spoke as his two original bodies merged into one. His words caused an uproar for a while. Gong Chao had already shown battle strength of the second occult, so it was unbelievable that Jian Wushuang would be able to push him farther than this. How could he fight against Gong Chao? Hearing that, the spectators shook their heads inwardly. I have a better understanding of the world Dao after 1 month of meditation at Enlightenment Mountain, but I haven't mastered the second occult as he did. This is... Jian Wushuang was astonished at his opponent's strength. He knew he still had a chance to win if he fought to the death. I might be able to defeat him if I use my strongest sword soul and the strength from my flawless foundation. Jian Wushuang was deep in thought. He had only exerted 80% of his sword soul power. He had pretended that he was at the ordinary skyscraping realm. If he used the superb strength that his flawless foundation provided, he would be stronger than he was now. However, Jian Wushuang did not intend to do so. After all, Empress Xiao had asked him not to expose his strongest sword soul and flawless foundation. And he had proven himself, so there was no need to fight to the finish. The battles between the strongest geniuses ended. Gong Chao won. In many experts' eyes, the result was unsurprising, but it was not easy. The two duelers' strength was out of their expectations, far superior to the geniuses in the previous Firmament Territory feasts. Gong Chao had comprehended the Yin-Yang Dao and the second occult of the Thunderbolt Dao. It was rare to see such a monster in the eternal world. Jian Wushuang had also shown his terrifying strength. After all, he came from the ancient world, a plain world. No one paid him any mind when the feast began, but now his strength shamed the other geniuses. He had comprehended the world Dao and slaughter Dao, and his terrifying sword soul power might be the strongest among the other geniuses. He had also invented a rank 2 secret skill, as had Gong Chao. Furthermore, he had mastered the doppelganger secret skill. Only Gong Chao was able to defeat him in this feast. As for Xianxia Wuhan, he ranked third. Xianxia Wuhan had displayed his incredible strength during the fight with Feng, but he was still far inferior to Jian Wushuang and Gong Chao. Chapter 647. The arena battle ends. As the fighting went on, Jian Wushuang moved to the outside of the battlefield to stand with Feng, side by side, watching the fighting quietly. It's a pity that you encountered Gong Chao so early, otherwise you would have had a chance to make it into the top 2 among everyone, Feng said to Jian Wushuang flatly while looking at him. Jian Wushuang replied with a smile, it's also a pity that you encountered Xianxia Wuhan, or you would have made it into the top 5. Both of them had the bad luck of encountering someone who was more powerful than them. Whatever, our business is done in the arena battle, Jian Wushuang said reluctantly. Their journey in that battle ended with them being ranked inside the top 20. As they were watching, the fight for the top 10 was over, and all the 10 winners could get 100,000 divine gems as a prize for their rankings. In no time, those people started fighting for the top 3. Half a day passed during these hot battles, and finally, the arena battle ended. The list of the top 3 geniuses came out, which was based on the participants' performances. Without question, Gong Chao was number 1. He was so powerful that Jian Wushuang was the only one who had been able to force him to try his hardest. The others all lost to him before he even had to show his real power. As for the number 2 expert, people had thought it should be Xianxia Wuhan. However, it turned out to be a slovenly girl who had attracted little attention during the previous rounds and unexpectedly defeated Xianxia Wuhan with a burst of her power in the last round. The girl was named Xianxia. Xianxia Wuhan was ranked number 3. In fact, everyone present knew that if Jian Wushuang had not met Gong Chao during the battle, he could have taken Xianxia Wuhan's place in the rankings. The girl named Xianxia has really got some power, Jian Wushuang murmured. He had witnessed the fight between her and Xianxia Wuhan and was astonished by her power. She is indeed mighty with a gift in the water drop Dao. However, you can absolutely overpower her if you battle her with your original body and doppelganger at the same time, Feng chimed in. Maybe. Jian Wushuang forced a smile. As soon as the arena battle was over, experts from every sect immediately started recruiting new disciples. The top 3 geniuses all received invitations from the 3 magnates, while the others within the top 10 were sought after by some other top sects. And as for Jian Wushuang and Feng, the outstanding 2 in the battle, they had not received an invitation from any sect, not even from a medium-sized one. It shouldn't be like this. Jian Wushuang frowned. Although he was from the ancient world, he believed that his performance in the battle was good enough to earn him an invitation from a top sect. As he was lost in confusion, he got a message from the token that Xianxia had given him. Jian Wushuang, I'll have you be our inner disciple, so go to the ancient sect with me. The information was clear. Xianxia would give him a place among their inner disciples. But aside from this, nothing else, such as the guidance of the Eternal Realm experts, was promised. To be an inner disciple of the ancient sect. Jian Wushuang's eyes lit up. Feng and Hui Ying standing beside him received a message from Xianxia as well, and they looked very happy. Jian Wushuang looked at them and asked, "What are your results?" "I've been accepted as an inner disciple," Feng answered with joy. "So have I." Hui Ying cried out excitedly. Obviously, Xianxia had accepted all of them as inner disciples. And to them, this was as good of a chance as it was to be the inner disciples of the 3 magnates. "And what about you 3? Jian Wushuang turned to Bing Shan, Shen Ying, and Wu Huang behind him. Those 3 had been kicked out during the first round of the arena battle, but they had chosen to wait in the drill ground since then. The 3 of them exchanged glances before Bing Shan replied, "We only got invitations as outer disciples." "That's not bad," Hui Ying said to comfort them. "Yeah." Those 3 nodded with looks of satisfaction on their faces. The ancient sect was even greater than the 3 magnates in some way, therefore, what they could gain from the sect as outer disciples would be no less than if they were inner disciples of other top sects. "I can't wait to cultivate in the ancient sect." Wu Huang clenched his hands. "Be patient. The Firmament Territory Feast isn't over and the 4th round of Genius Battles is yet to begin." Feng laughed at him. However, those words reminded Jian Wushuang of what the host had said, that there were 4 rounds of Genius Battles in total. At that moment, the 4th round was yet to begin. Normally, as all remarkable geniuses had been selected out during the first 3 rounds, there was no need to hold a 4th round, so the Firmament Territory Feast would come to an end at this point. This matter confused Jian Wushuang very much. What is exactly the purpose of the fourth round? All the geniuses who had survived the third round were gathered on the drill ground, and they all shared the same feeling as Jian Wushuang. As if he had seen through those geniuses' confusion, the host looked around and explained to them. The fourth round of genius battles is the most important part of the Firmament Territory Feast, and everyone who has participated in the arena battle could participate in this round as well. The most important part. The geniuses were surprised. The next moment, the host's voice echoed again. As all of you know, the aim of the previous 3 rounds is to examine your power, but in fact, one's current power could not be a determinant of whether he is talented or not. Therefore, the purpose of the fourth round is to discover the talent and potential in you. And the results of this round will only be decided by time. The host's voice was loud and clear. By time? The geniuses were even more confused. Chapter 648, The Fourth Round of Genius Battles. As the host was explaining everything, his sonorous voice echoed throughout the place. What kind of person could be called a genius? Someone who can achieve in 1 year what it takes others 10 years. For example, it may take an ordinary man thousands of years to reach the eternal realm from the skyscraping realm, but a real genius can do that within just hundreds of years. Time can prove many things. Therefore, with all of you being in the skyscraping realm, the time that you've spent cultivating to reach that realm and how long you've been in it will be the best proof of your talent. This is how the fourth round works. Upon hearing this, the geniuses were finally able to understand the rule. It was true that one's talent and potential could be seen through his years of cultivation. Taking the ordinary warriors in the ancient world as an example, from the day they started cultivating, it might take one of them hundreds of years to reach the Saint Realm, while for someone else, just dozens of years to achieve the same thing. Needless to say, the latter was clearly more gifted. Having said that, the rule of the fourth round was practicable indeed. I never thought that our cultivation time would be the measurement of the fourth round. Hui Ying frowned tightly and echoed in an undertone. I have to admit that it makes sense, but the point is that we're from ancient world. The less favorable conditions in our world decrees that it takes us more time to reach the skyscraping realm than those from the eternal world. Someone chimed in. Yes, you're right. It's unfair. Unfair indeed. Feng nodded in agreement. The 5 geniuses from the ancient world all complained about the rule, as they knew that they were doomed to lose this battle. Due to the poor cultivating conditions in their homeworld, they had all spent a rather long time in cultivation, especially Hui Ying. We have no chance to beat them if we compare our cultivation ages. By this time, they were sufficiently discontented. However, Jian Wushuang might have been the exception among them. He had an odd expression while thinking. The measurement will be cultivation time? Well, it hasn't been long since I started cultivating. In the Skyward Pavilion, the experts from the sects glanced at those geniuses from the ancient world with eyes full of pity. Those poor boys are going to be embarrassed. That's for sure. Being born with limited resources, in no way could they cultivate faster than those from the eternal world. Considering that it's so hard for them to break through to the skyscraping realm in the ancient world, all 6 of them must have cultivated for 1,000 years. The mighty Jian Wushuang among them might have cultivated even longer. He probably is 3,000 or 4,000 years old now. Those from the eternal world are far superior to them. I reckon that few of them have cultivated for over 800 years. Gong Chao, Jing Shenzi, Xianxia Wuhan, and Jian Wushuang ideally want to know how long they have cultivated. Especially Jian Wushuang, I'd love to see if he really is over the age of 4,000. But, we all know that an ordinary skyscraping realm expert can't live for more than 4,000 years, so Jian Wushuang should be under that age. Even if he has taken some precious elixirs to prolong his life, he can't make it to more than 5,000 years old, all the same. Those experts were waiting to see Jian Wushuang and the other 5 lost face. On the drill ground, with a gesture from the host, a short elder turned up who had a special aura. This is Elder Qiu. The host introduced the elder to the geniuses. He has some unique methods to examine your cultivation age and the time you've been in the skyscraping realm. Now, go take your examination one by one when I read your name. After glancing around, the host read out the first name, Gu Ling. The man named Gu Ling immediately walked over to the elder. "I need a drop of your blood," Elder Chiu said to him. Doing as ordered, Gu Ling gave the elder a drop of blood, which was then put into a special container. A moment later, the results came out. Your cultivation age is no more than 350 years, and you've been in the skyscraping realm for 200 years, Elder Chiu announced directly. 350 years? Not bad. The experts in Skyward Pavilion praised him. The host continued, "The next one is." One by one, the geniuses went forward to take the test. The results showed that most of the geniuses from the Eternal World had a short cultivation age, with a range of 300 to 500 years. A small number of them had an age of 600 years. But there were very few with a cultivation age over 800 years. After the previous 3 rounds, the weak had been eliminated and only the strong remained. 800 years were sufficient for a strong one to become a divine realm expert, which was impossible for the geniuses from the ancient world, however. Xianxia Wuhan. When Xianxia Wuhan's name was called, everyone looked at him. As one of those most outstanding geniuses, he had gotten much attention from others. In a minute or two, Elder Chiu announced his result. Your cultivation age is between 780 and 790 years, and you've been stuck in the skyscraping realm for over 600 years. Xianxia Wuhan's result was beyond the expectations of everyone in the Skyward Pavilion and those who had thought highly of him. 780 years in cultivation and 600 years in the skyscraping realm were rather long times compared with those of the geniuses in the Eternal World. In view of this, Xianxia Wuhan's talent was not that satisfying despite his mighty power. Chapter 649, Cultivation Age. Bastard! Xianxia Wuhan could not help cursing to himself. Actually, he could have broken into the divine realm several hundred years ago. However, in order to impress others with the feeling that his power was high above his realm, he had intentionally avoided breaking through. He had never thought that he would be swallowed up among many other geniuses. Bad luck had caught him in succession. First, he had been overpowered by Gong Chao and Jian Wushuang, then Jing Xianxia, out of nowhere, had come to defeat him, and now, when he finally could have been ranked top 3, the 4th round frustrated him again. The test pushed him into the situation where he could not hide his secret anymore. I had thought he was a genius of extraordinary talent, but now I've learned it's just because he has cultivated much longer than the others. He doesn't deserve to be our inner disciple. Go tell him that we'll revoke our previous invitation, and to show our mercy, we can take him as an outer disciple. A black-haired elder from Cloud Sea Asgard ordered his men. The middle-aged man from the Immortal Dynasty and the girl from the Boundless Demon Sect gave out a similar order as well. Next up, Feng. When Feng's name was called, all the geniuses on the drill ground looked at him with interest. He was the first one from the ancient world to take the test. You've cultivated for over 1,900 years, and for about 1,800 of them, you've been in the skyscraping realm. Feng forced a bitter smile at the results, while the other geniuses could not help sighing. So far, the longest cultivation time for the Eternal World geniuses was 810 years, far shorter than 1,900 years. Xianxia, is he the trash that you thought so highly of? He is a good-for-nothing, said the elder from Cloud Sea Asgard coldly. I don't think so. Xianxia gave him an easy smile. We all know that the conditions in the ancient world are quite disadvantageous to those cultivators, so I think he's done well to have made it so far. Besides, you also heard that he's been in the skyscraping realm for the remaining 1,800 years, which means it has only taken him 100 years to reach that realm. He indeed has got some talent. Whatever, that's no excuse for his poor results. The elder did not change his mind. Xianxia shrugged with no desire to argue with him further. The test continued on. Hui Ying, Bing Shan, Shen Ying, and Wu Huang followed Feng in taking their turns. Among those 4, the latter 3 all had cultivated for more than 2,000 years, and Wu Huang had even cultivated longer than 2,800 years. As for Hui Ying, who had the longest among the rest of them, his cultivation life was an amazing 3,700 years. That number caused the other geniuses to cry out in surprise. Next is Gong Chao. The voice of the host quieted down the whole drill ground, as well as the skyward pavilion. Everyone held their breath to see Gong Chao's result. They all wanted to know how long this number one genius, the terrifying monster, had cultivated. If it turned out to be more than 800 years, his fame as the number one genius would be challenged. But, if it were to be a much shorter time, such as 300 or 400 years, he would be able to protect his fame. Gong Chao. Jian Wushuang watched him closely. This person was the only one among everyone in the Firmament Territory feast that he took seriously. From the very beginning, he had been keeping an eye on him. Under everyone's gaze, Gong Chao went over to Elder Chiu and gave him a drop of his blood. In no time, the elder announced the result in an astonished voice. You've cultivated for less than 120 years and reached the skyscraping realm only 50 years ago. A commotion began on the drill ground the very moment that those words were uttered. Less than 120 years? Unbelievable! Jing Xianxia was frozen for a moment. Although her cultivation life of 210 years was shorter than that of many others, Gong Chao's was nearly half of hers. In the Skyward Pavilion, the experts from every sect were thrilled at Gong Chao's results. They praised him in amazement. Genius, exceptional genius. I thought that he should have cultivated for over 400 years, but it turns out that it's so much shorter. 120 years. It's amazing that he could make it so far in a short 120 years. Right then, Gong Chao heard his name echo throughout the place from the room on the top floor of the Skyward Pavilion. I'm the 9th Elder of Cloud Seer's Guard, Xianxia. The voice continued, You're so gifted that I want to invite you to be our disciple. All our resources for cultivation will be open to you, and I'll help you earn personal guidance from our master. As long as you try hard, I ensure you that you can reach the eternal realm in 10,000 years. Are you willing to accept my invitation? Those words startled all the geniuses present. They could not believe that the 9th Elder of Cloud Seer's Guard had wanted to recruit Gong Chao with such attractive conditions. Personal guidance from a Super Dao Master? This was something that many experts would pursue their entire lifetime. In addition to that, there was the promising future of reaching the eternal realm in 10,000 years waiting for Gong Chao. Those conditions gave such a thrill to the geniuses, even though they were not for them. As Gong Chao was considering it, more invitations from the other sects began to come his way. Chapter 650, Jian Wushuang's Cultivation Time. Gong Chao, as long as you join our immortal dynasty, we will try hard to train you and ensure that you reach the eternal realm within 10,000 years. With luck, you may be able to do it in 3,000 years. We can do that for you too, Gong Chao. What's more, our master has planned to accept a personal disciple. Because you are so talented, that lucky guy will probably be you. Someone from the Boundless Demon sect chimed in. Those two sects tried to attract Gong Chao with their offerings as well. The two of you. Seeing that there were two more competitors, Xianxia shouted angrily. What? You have made your offer, so why can't we? The man from the Immortal Dynasty yelled back coldly. Fine, I'd love to see if your conditions are really more attractive than ours. Xianxia's voice was icy yet confident. The competition for Gong Chao between the three sects confused the onlookers. The other experts in the Skyward Pavilion were surprised as well. They had never seen anyone before that was wanted by all three of the magnates. At last, Cloud Seer's Guard was victorious over the other two sects due to its irresistible offerings. Then, Gong Chao became their disciple. The two failed sects had to give up, however unwilling they might have been. The test of the genius's cultivation ages went on. Finally, it was Jian Wushuang's turn. Next up, Jian Wushuang. The moment that his name was called, many people began to look at him. As the only one who had managed to force Gong Chao to go all out, it would have been hard for him to go unnoticed. Now, Jian Wushuang is going to take the test. How long do you think he has cultivated? The voice of the man from the Immortal Dynasty again echoed in the Skyward Pavilion. I think at least more than 2,000 years. That's too talented for him. I think it must be longer than Hui Ying. Maybe. But, Considering that he has gotten some opportunities to gain the doppelganger secret skill, he may have relied on something other than time to gain his current power. Those experts chatted with each other while watching Jian Wushuang take his test. Mr. Xianyi, Jian Wushuang is your disciple. Are you really not interested in his cultivation time? The girl from the Boundless Demon sect asked Xianyi. Those sects had promised Xianyi that they would give up trying to recruit all the 6 geniuses from the ancient world, so in their eyes, Jian Wushuang was already a member of the ancient sect. Xianyi laughed at the girl's words. Since I've accepted him as our inner disciple, it doesn't matter how long he has cultivated. Even if he is more than 4,000 years old and at the day of his doom, I won't change my mind and I'll help him go further. Shi Qianhan interrupted their talk with irony in his voice. If he is really that old, he is indeed trash in view of his current power. Does he deserve your care and help? I'll just say it, you are just wasting your time and resources. We have nothing but time and resources in our sect, so as long as I want, I can push him up to the eternal realm. That's beyond your reach, isn't? Xianyi sneered and fought back. On hearing this, Shi Qianhan's face darkened slightly. It would take so many resources to push a skyscraping realm expert up to the eternal realm that only the 3 magnates were able to do it. However, even if they were to do that, the cost would be too high. And being just one of the elders in Cloud Seer's Guard, Shi Qianhan was in no position to try it. He was different from Xianyi. Xianyi was recognized as the #1 eternal realm expert in the firmament territory, second only to his master in the ancient sect. In addition to that, he possessed many treasures himself, so it was easy for him to achieve that. Whatever, if you want to waste your money, go right ahead, Shi Qianhan said coldly. Let's wait and see. On the drill ground, as Jian Wushuang walked over to Elder Qiu, everyone's eyes were fixed on him. Even Gong Chao looked at him with sharp eyes. Jian Wushuang. He watched him closely. Jian Wushuang was the only one in the firmament territory feast that he regarded as his opponent. Though he had defeated him, he still thought that Jian Wushuang had restrained his power when battling him. When Jian Wushuang walked up to Elder Qiu, the latter ordered him in an icy voice. Give me a drop of your blood. Jian Wushuang immediately squeezed a drop of blood out from his finger. The elder put the blood into the container and started examining it. After being calm for several moments, the elder suddenly had a shocked expression on his face. How could this be possible? He murmured. He could not believe his eyes and then looked up at Jian Wushuang. Please give me one more drop of your blood. Okay. Jian Wushuang nodded and did as he had been told. This time, the elder examined the blood with more scrutiny, but to his surprise, the result was still the same. It can't be. This. He stared at Jian Wushuang in horror as if he was staring at a ghost. He opened his mouth and tried to say something, but for a while, not a sound escaped his mouth. The host saw his unusual behavior and asked with concern, What's the matter, Elder Qiu? The elder hemmed and hawed, and after taking a deep breath, he turned over to face the skyward pavilion and bowed. Finally, he could speak again. Ladies and gentlemen, Jian Wushuang's result has come out. His voice betrayed his astonishment, echoing throughout the whole place. It has been less than 40 years since he started cultivating. What? Everyone was startled by those words. Less than 40 years. And he has been in the skyscraping realm for less than 1 year. The elder's voice echoed again.